So we just sent our good friends off to London, sent them back home. And now we're getting ready to start a 69-hour readathon. So my wonderful friend Paige from Pages with Paige did her final Not Safe for Work-athon readathon this month. And they just finished it at the beginning of this week. But because we had friends visiting from out of town and we really did not have any time to read whatsoever, I was like, hey, Paige, is it okay if we start it later in the week? So when we know we'll have time to actually do the 69-hour readathon. And of course, Paige was very, very kind and said, of course. So we are actually starting the 69-hour Not Safe for Work-athon readathon now. Because actually, it's 7 on, what is today?
Wednesday the 7th.
Wednesday the 7th of September. And it is 7 p.m. And we're going to be going through Saturday the 10th. At 4 p.m. So 7 p.m. today until 4 p.m. on Saturday.
That's a lot of reading.
And there are 6 prompt drops. We know what the first prompt drop is because when she did her announcement video, she did the first prompt drop. We know what the next few prompt drops are because we had to bring books with us. We're actually staying in our timeshare right now, which I would show you, but it is
stuff all over the place.
Like, it's a mess. But we don't know what the last 2 prompt drops are. We don't know what the 5th and 6th prompt drops because by then we'll be home and we can see those and decide what books we'll read
so Friday and Saturday will be our last 2 drops and they're a surprise for us.
Yes. So
the first prompt for Not Safe for Work-athon 69-hour round edition is I-29. I love these prompts. So I-29 is deep throating. Read a book that deals with hard to swallow topic matter.
So for deep throating, the very first book, it's a book that's hard to swallow. Or at least has content that's hard to swallow or something that's hard to swallow. What did you choose?
Okay.
Oh, sorry, Paige. In advance. I'm saying sorry for her in advance.
Because the book I'm going to read, I don't have the cover, I took it off, is Malice. I started Malice a while ago, so I'm halfway through it, and it's been really hard for me to swallow. Is that what is this deep throating? I love retellings, but for some reason I'm having a problem with this. And I mean, I really like, who's
Maleficent?
Maleficent.
Yeah.
I really like her, kind of. Not really. She's a bad girl. No, I do like her. And so I'm having a hard time with this book, though. Maybe it'll get better. Like I said, I'm halfway through. I want
Are you going to restart
finish
it or no?
No, because I remember what's going on, and I don't want to keep putting it down. I want to finish this. Yes, and Paige, Amy told me you like it, so I'm
She
sorry.
loves it. This is one of her favorite books.
You love it, and I'm struggling with it, but maybe by the end of it, I will love it too.
I haven't read it yet, Paige, so still love me. Okay.
Yeah. But I really want to finish it. I don't like to leave a book halfway done. I don't hate the book. I just, every time I put it down, I couldn't make myself pick it up. So it's just been sitting on my bed stand for probably 2-3 weeks.
No, months.
Months?
Yes, you've had that one on your thing for months.
Yeah, so our first prompt, hard to swallow. This is Malice. This is what I'm going to read. And I'm going to finish it.
So mine is The Threat, and I had meant, look at that.
Hi.
How the FBI Protects America in the Age of Terror and Trump, which is a not necessarily fun one to start a readathon on, but this is going to have content that's hard to swallow because it's all political, and I'm not really into political nonfiction. This works out a lot because Deep Throat was the pseudonym for the person who was believed to give information on Nixon, or like release the information on Nixon from the FBI. So the guy was part of the FBI, released information on Nixon during the whole Watergate scandal. Well, this is about Andrew McCabe, who is the head of the FBI, or was the head of the FBI, and talking about Trump, and Trump firing him. So like I felt like it was a pretty funny coincidence that this worked out well. I'll show you around a little bit. Just know that it's lived in at the moment. It's kind of a small one because it's Labor Day weekend or just after Labor Day weekend, and there wasn't a lot available. So I had to get us a studio. So it's a little bitty place we're staying in, but it's going to be a good time either way. And we'll give you an update in a little bit, and then we will have the next prompt drop at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Okay, 7
Thursday
every 12
morning.
hours?
Every 12 hours, yeah. Okay, so here's the living room area and the Murphy bed. This bed comes out of the wall. There's Mom. Wave. There's a TV and a fireplace. We probably won't use the fireplace because it's warm enough. Then there's a little kitchenette over here. And yeah, sorry, it's a mess because we've just been putting stuff around. Little kitchenette. And then here's the little area with our other stuff. And oh yeah, look at these pictures. Aren't they pretty?
Sunset.
And then down here, it's dark. There's a washer and dryer in here, which is nice. I'll see. So we've already done a load of laundry, so that's great. There's the front door. And then this is the bathroom. Not all that exciting, just a bathroom. Oh, and this is where we are, Birch Bay. Welcome to Birch Bay. That's where we're staying for the next few nights. And then let's go out on the patio, or the, this thing. And that's our view of the ocean. And if we were going to grill, we have a grill here, but we're probably not going to do that. And there's a little table and 2 chairs, the rest of our view. Mostly parking lot and trees. Okay, so this might sound dumb because I should know this right as an American citizen. James Comey was the director of the FBI. And then when he got fired, then Andrew McCabe was quickly put into a temporary position as the acting director. He got pushed into that position by the Attorney General through Donald Trump because of James Comey's being fired. So it happened like all of a sudden. He didn't really get any warning. He went into a meeting where they told him that James Comey was going to be fired, and James Comey found out on the news. Now, I'm sure that people know this, and I do know some of it, but I don't know that I paid that much attention to the details. So it's interesting reading about it here from McCabe's perspective. And let me tell you, this is a good choice for that prompt because it's crunchy. It's unnerving to read all this, knowing how I felt about things that were going on politically within the U.S. And then, of course, seeing some of the inner workings of this stuff. It's just uncomfortable. I did get to a point where it was just too much. A lot of the politics that was going on in the U.S. was just too much. And I try to be as informed as I possibly can. Not as much as other people who are very good about staying on top of things politically. But I try to, be an informed citizen. But there was difficulty for me. So reading this is good for me. It's good for me to kind of learn a little bit more and get to see some of what was happening at the time that it was happening. I think the writing is done really well. It's very direct and informative, and that's kind of exactly what I expect from this sort of book. You can tell that this was written so that everybody could read it and could get into it, and it's not too jargon heavy, which is nice because, especially when it comes to politics, some of that stuff can be fairly confusing, and that can be a bit of a deterrent for a lot of people when it comes to politics, is that there's a lot of jargon and there's a lot of conversations that people don't really understand much about, so they sort of avoid it and don't pay any attention to it. I think that it's written in a way that is easy to understand, and that's helpful.
So it's 10:30. We started at 7, and I finished Malice. I'm going to give it a 4. Believe it or not, the second half was really good.
Good enough that you changed your rating.
Yes, because the first half, I couldn't even keep reading it. There's a lot of malice in here.
Well, you said it was pretty dark.
Yeah, it's really dark. The darkness in the first half of the book, I couldn't relate to, but in the second half of the book, it all made sense. I found it a lot more exciting, a lot more interesting. I like the characters more.
What is it about?
This is a retelling about Sleeping Beauty. And this book includes fairies. It includes spinning wheel
face.
Of course, Aurora, our princess. It includes Maleficent. Maleficent. Yes, it includes Malice, the woman.
Maleficent. Yeah.
Is a retelling of the story, so it's kind of funny. It's a completely different retelling than you expect, but it's really good. A lot of death. Did Sleeping Beauty. Sleeping Beauty, it was all sleeping, you know. They would sleep,
Right.
not die, but we got lots of death in here and lots of hate. Very hateful.
So, are you gonna read the next one?
What's our next prompt?
Oh, I don't know yet. We're not gonna find out till 7 a.m. But I mean, are
Okay.
you planning on reading the next book?
Oh, yes, that was the thing I didn't mention. So this is a duology, which I didn't know when I was reading it. And so I was getting closer and closer to the end, and I thought, there's not much left here, and it's going to end. And I didn't feel like we were getting close to an ending. So it didn't. It was a cliffhanger. And yes, I have to read the second book. I don't know when I'm going to get hold of the second book, and I'm hoping the second book will answer all my questions that I ever wanted to know about Sleeping Beauty.
So, what are you gonna do until 7 a.m.? Because you finished really early.
Well, it's 10:30 tonight. We've been busy all week with guests from England. I want to sleep.
Good morning. So it is 6:50, and I only got 56 pages into this last night. And it's like, I read the whole time. I did have dinner, and I did take a little bit of a break from reading last night. We read for about 4.5 hours, I'd say. From 7 until 11:30 is what time we went to sleep. And yet I only made it 56 pages, which just goes to show that I'm a slow reader. Or that it's nonfiction. Nonfiction just takes a little longer. Same with the beginning of a book. Starting a book always takes me a little bit longer as well. I'm finding this very interesting, and I'm learning a lot. You know, I'd be curious to see some of the reviews, what people think about this. The second prompt drop is at 7, and we'll have it from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So the ones that happen in the evening times, we only have so long as we're willing to stay awake. And that was like 4.5 hours. This one kind of gets the short end of the stick. I'll be continuing this book at some point anyways, but I definitely won't be continuing it right now because we're going to pick our next books.
Oh. We lost the first prompt. And so the ball is B12. For B12, the prompt is shit. Read a 5-star prediction and hope that it's the shit.
Shit. That's a weird prompt.
It's actually a good prompt.
Well,
It was a 5-star prediction, and you hope that it's the shit.
okay, that makes
Yeah,
more
that's a
sense.
good prompt. What are you going to hope that is the shit?
So I am buddy reading Mistborn with Shelley.
Well, you're reading the Final Empire.
The Final Empire. Oh.
So Mistborn's the name of the series.
Oh.
Final Empire is the first book.
Oh. Shelley and I are going to be reading Brandon Sanderson all the way through from beginning to
You're doing
end.
publication order, yeah.
Yeah, publication order?
Yeah.
I didn't know it. She just tells me which one to read.
I'm helping Mom with her buddy read.
Well, you know more about books than I do. That doesn't sound right, does it? I know what a book is. I've already started this book. So my last book and this book are already halfway through.
I know, she's cheating. She's totally cheating for this.
Maybe. But I need to finish these. I want to talk to Shelley about this book.
But why are you picking that for 5-star prediction?
Well, Brandon Sanderson, what else can you say? I mean, his books are so good, it's hard to put down.
How many have you read of Brandon Sanderson?
This is my third one. I'm halfway through. It was hard to put down. I had to put it down because we had guests from England, and I couldn't pick it up at all when they were here because that would have been really rude.
I know, sadly. Well, we thought maybe we'd get some time to read, and our wonderful friends were just excited to spend all their time with us.
All their time.
Which was great. But we were like, oh, guess not, we don't get to read.
So what are you reading?
I am reading...
Shit.
Oh, there she is, right in the right spot. You're kind of like right in the spot where I would put my book. There we go. I'm reading The Vanishing Half by Bennett. It's one that's been on my TBR for a very long time, but it's also on my 5-star prediction list. And I'll link that video up here so you can check out my other 5-star predictions. I think it'll be the shit because I love multi-generational dramas. So the subject matter sounds like it will be sad and a bit uncomfortable, of course, but I do tend to like those types of books. I really love literary fiction, and I'm excited to read this and see what I think about it because so many people do love it. And I'm going to find out. And hopefully I get further than 56 pages in this one.
Well, you have 12 hours.
I do. I actually have 12 hours for this one because I probably won't sleep during the day. Hi down there. I had to give my arm a break.
Don't record. Don't show any of that.
I'm going to show that.
No.
Don't say that because I'm going to show it. Tide is way out. Okay, so is your book the shit so far?
Yes.
Or does shit?
I still think it's going to be a 5-star prediction. I'm enjoying it. When Amy suggested a walk, I didn't want to go. I didn't want to put it down, but I needed a walk. I still am like an eighth away from the end, and I know this is a series, so I'm not sure how far we'll get, but very exciting.
I was hoping to get a new place for us to chat with you, but it was so windy outside, so we just walked.
Come back.
I'm 120 pages in. I think it's probably going to be a 5-star as well. It's really good. So first you're learning about the twins and how they go missing from their town. They disappear from their town intentionally. And then quite a few years later, one of the twins, Desiree, comes back to her hometown. And her sister, Stella, had kind of just abandoned her and went off to live a life in a white community. So for reasons, Desiree has to come back, and she has a child who is incredibly dark-skinned. And in this community where everybody's very light-skinned, this poor girl just gets made fun of the whole time she's a child there. And she always wants to go back home to where Desiree's husband is, but for reasons they can't. The second part of this story is we're following the daughter as she goes off to college in California. She gets to go to UCLA. We find out about her love interest and the people she's getting to know there, and kind of starting a new life in a place where she doesn't feel like she's as ugly as she felt when she was living in the little town of...
So is this contemporary? I thought it was really long time ago.
The first part of it was during when Martin Luther King was assassinated and stuff. And then this next part, so the first part was 1968. The next part's 1978. And I don't know what's going to happen in the next couple of sections. We haven't ever gone back to the other sister, Stella. So I'm wondering if we'll get to learn more about her side of the story. But right now we're focusing on Desiree's daughter, Jude, and kind of what's going on with her and her love life. It's great. Like, this is so good. It's the kind of book that I love. These stories about generations and some of the things they have faced and how their parents' experience have affected them, and then how that maybe will affect their children and their experiences. This has a big racial element to it because it is all about the racism of being Black in a white country, but then also being dark-skinned in a light-skinned community when you're within a Black community. So like it's very difficult. There's some drag queens in this, but then there's also a trans character, and hearing what their experience is like at that time versus a lot of the trans stories I read now are more modern, and technology is more modern when it comes to that sort of thing, whereas back then it was a lot more dangerous, and there was even less support. And so it's very interesting to read about it. And there was only one part that I got pretty choked up with. Haven't full out cried yet, but I'm sure it's gonna happen.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. So it's about almost 2:00. We had a wonderful walk. Do we have a wonderful walk?
Yeah, I'm still sweating.
Yeah. It was a little.
It
wasn't hot, but
no, there was a wind. It just exercise.
Sun beating down on you.
Sweat.
Yeah. So we're going to keep reading, though. We have until 7 to continue on. We'll give you an update. And
hopefully we'll be finished.
You'll be done soon.
Wow, when it comes in fast.
Yeah, we've only been inside about 10 minutes at the most, and the tide is already almost all the way in. It comes in really fast, because it was really far out there. It was way out there. And now it's already almost to the shoreline.
This book is so exciting, and you know what? I don't think it's going to leave me with a cliffhanger. I mean, a lot is explained on the last few pages, and I'm so excited I can't stop reading.
Every once in a while I feel like a little deja vu when it comes to certain books that I've read. And so this one, like the first half, I don't remember reading any of that. But the second half, now that we're learning more about Stella, the sister who was white passing, this part just feels like I've read this before. It feels all so familiar. It's so weird because I know I haven't read the story before, this book. But yeah, it just feels like I've read this. Weird. Totally deja vu moment.
I finished it. I finished Mistborn, The Final Empire. It feels like it ended really well. I mean, it's a 5. Definitely good. Had a lot of really fun things in here that I wasn't expecting. A lot of good magic that was very different. It didn't leave me with a cliffhanger. I know there's more books in this series, so it'll be interesting to find out what they're going to do, because this had a pretty good ending. What was it about? Magic, war. It wasn't a love story. There was a little bit of romance, but very, very little. So maybe there'll be romance in the next one. It was just really, really fun.
So it is definitely weird because I feel like I have deja vu for this portion of this book. And that doesn't make any sense, right? But I had the same experience with Homegoing, not the whole book, but parts of the book. And I'm wondering if I had a class, some class while I was in college, where the teacher had us read parts of these books for something. Because it's the only thing that makes sense. Because I know I haven't read the first half of this book. But the second half, at least the part that I'm reading right now, part 3, I have definitely read. I bet you it was for a class. What class? I have no clue. But I have read this, and I have read parts of Homegoing, not the whole thing. That must be it. I'm not going crazy. I swear. It is 7 p.m. We're just about to check out what our next prompt is. Well, we know what it is, but we'll show it to you and tell you what books we've chosen. But I want to talk a little bit about Vanishing Half. I didn't finish. Surprise, surprise. But I made it pretty far. I'm on page 246, so well over halfway. I feel like Bennett is doing a very good job of adding embellishments as needed, but not going overboard. Her writing just feels effortless. It's a really great story. The characters, you can understand a lot of the things that they have been going through. And even though you don't necessarily agree with some of the choices the characters have made, and you don't necessarily like the direction their life has taken, kind of seeing where it's going to go to, it's either going to be a great thing or it's going to be a train wreck. I will be interested to see how things turn out in the end, because you know that something has to happen. The sisters have not been in contact for, let's see, well over 20 years, 25 years or something along those lines. And we're coming to some kind of resolution. I don't know what it's going to be, but there's going to be something. And it's interesting to see the two twins, their personalities and how they decided to live their lives. And then you get to see their daughters. Each has had one daughter, and how their daughters' personalities are, and how they have been living their lives as well, what kind of choices they make, what kind of things they've come up against. And how everybody seems to just be missing something because of this choice that was made a long time ago for the sisters to run away. They have various reasons for the choices they made after that. And for them at the time, it made sense. But it has really put a strain on this whole family because they've always been missing something. All of them have been missing something this whole time. And so I'll be curious to see what happens when we find out what happens.
So, here we go. And it is N38. N38. Let's have a look at what that prompt is. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. For N38, the prompt is foot fetish from the bottom of your TBR pile. Oh, that was mean.
So, prompt number 3.
Foot fetish.
Bottom of your TBR pile. So basically a book you're either not really excited about, you've been wanting to read for a while, not something you planned on reading right now. That's another way of looking at it.
I grabbed this one.
Don't put it in front of your face.
Hello.
Don't put it in front of your face.
It's Fruit Baskets.
Volume 5.
Volume 5. It's
the
a
collector's edition. So why is it at the bottom of your TBR pile?
because it's hard for me to read these. Number one, they go backwards. And when I get really tired, I start going forwards again, and I realize I just read it. So it's hard for me to read mangas, and I also mangas. And I also like to read, and this has more pictures than words. So I'm enjoying the television show, and I understand more when I watch the television show. I struggle through these. So I want to get through all the fruits baskets, but I really want to get through it so I can watch the show.
Have you been liking these books in it all?
I feel lost when I read the books, and then I watch the show on TV, and then I feel it makes more sense. I have a list of all these characters, and I didn't bring that with me, so I can't even tell who these characters are, but I have to write things down to understand this. So it's at the bottom, I think, because it's harder work than just picking up a book and reading it.
So I picked The Rape of Europa by Lynn H. Nicholas because this was a book that I wanted to try a chapter. It's not that I'm not interested in this bit of history. It's just this book just feels overwhelming. It's a thick book. The writing is very small. I just figured it'd be a good one for a try a chapter. But then in my game, I pulled one of my Challenge Cup choices, and this is the book that came up. So I was like, well, it's going to happen. But I know since we are starting this one in the evening, and we're only going to have like 4 some odd hours before we fall asleep. And then we'll wake up, and it'll be 7 a.m. and ready to do the next prompt drop. I will probably not make it very far. So.
Well, then it might work for read a chapter.
Yeah, try a chapter. I'll get to try a chapter. We've been reading a lot today, so we're both kind of like
tired.
Woo! But it's going well.
Yeah.
It's still going well. I still have energy for reading.
Yeah. I'm enjoying reading. Since we're not at home, there's no other distractions. We get to read and read and read, though I got a headache from it. And I'm hoping that I don't have to take a lot of notes while I'm reading this.
Plus, it's been really relaxing. We've been kind of busy for the last week with visitors, and it's really nice to just have a couple of days of doing nothing. And I don't have to work this week, so that feels good too. And so we're just relaxing and not doing much. Tomorrow we do have to check out, and then we go pick up Cece, so we won't have quite as much non-disturbed time to read tomorrow, but it'll be still, I mean, we'll probably be ready for a little more of a break tomorrow. Because it's a lot of reading.
We still have to read till then Saturday
till 4.
Till 4, okay.
Yeah, so we got it. And then I'm going to go probably try and give plasma tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to be a day where we have a few more things going on. And we'll get to see our little puppy and our kitty again. So that'll be nice. So I'm out here because the dishwasher is so loud. And I have tried 13 pages of this. It's very, very dense. Like, really, really dense. So 13 pages was just like reading a chapter. And I think I'm going to give this one a new home and take it to a little free library, and hopefully somebody else will enjoy it more than I'm going to. You can tell that Lynn Nicholas has done a ton of research and is a really strong academic in researching her topic, but it made it really tedious. It was very tedious to read. It was so much information and so dense in the names of the different people, the names of the different artists, the locations, the different museums, all these different organizations, that it was really hard to follow along, kind of like in a story fashion, because you're just so busy trying to figure out what all these things and places and people and whatnot are. And I just wasn't enjoying it. In fact, I was just getting to the point where I'm like, I can't read this for very long. So, you know, I kind of thought that might happen. I do love history. I do love nonfiction that is based in history, but this feels like it's very specific and really for academics, and I'm not at a point where I want to spend that much time reading this while also trying to understand every single person, place, and thing inside of it, because I would want to cross-reference everything just so I have an idea what art piece they're talking about, what National Gallery they're talking about, what person, what painter, what's the paint, you know, like there was so much information in this that even in the first 13 pages, I'm like, I can't read a whole book like this. It's just so dense. But the good news is for the bottom of my TBR pile that this is actually, the Vanishing half is going to work for that, because Paige said you could use one book for as many prompts as you want if they work. And I really want to read this one. It's a 5-star prediction, but I have put it on many TBRs over and over and over again. And it's not really at the bottom of my TBR, but it's been one that I have kept putting off and putting off and putting off, not intentionally, just getting busy with other things. And I'm finally reading it. So I think this works for that, because I've had it for a very long time and I've never actually read it, with many intentions of reading it and not actually reading it. So I'm going to finish this one up, and that makes me feel good, because an hour and a half into this next prompt and I was feeling like, oh, I can't read anymore. I just can't read anymore, because it was just getting to be too much. My brain was gonna explode. And this is supposed to be fun because school doesn't start until late September, so I don't want stress. I want fun.
Hi. I finished Fruits Basket 5. It was a difficult book for me to read. I didn't understand most of the stuff that's happening, and I try to let that be okay. I will want to watch the show. There's also new people introduced in here, and I'll want to write them down and figure out what they do. There was a lot of backstories for some of the characters here that were kind of sad. So this one was kind of a sad addition, but I'd give it maybe a 3.25. Again, it's hard for me to read these. I need a lot more practice with mangas. Mangas. I keep trying.
Yeah. Okay, so it is midnight, and I have finally finished The Vanishing Half by Brit Bennett. And this was the shit. It wasn't quite 5 stars. It was pretty close. 4.5 stars is what I would give it. And I think the reason for that is that I felt that this started out a lot stronger and was really strong for probably 3/4 of it. And not that the last quarter was bad or anything. It was just the pacing really changed quite a bit. And I felt like the way that all these stories intertwined, there was something about the pacing that was off for me. And then these were a lot of different perspectives and a lot of different jumps in time. And sometimes that works really well. And in this case, I think towards the end, it wasn't as strong as the majority of the book. But I loved the character development. The story was fantastic. It was really difficult. It wasn't like everything resolved itself perfectly and that you could be like, oh, everybody learned their lesson, everybody's become a better person. It wasn't like that at all. And I do like that when it comes to these kind of stories because it's more realistic. You know, it's more realistic that not everything is going to resolve perfectly and that there's still going to be things that could have been better, choices that have been made that can't be changed. Life can't necessarily be wrapped up in a perfectly neat little bow. 4.5, like, to me, this is still amazing. This is an amazing book. It was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. I read it really quickly, if you think about it, because I just read it in one sitting, or one day, basically. And so I'm really excited that I read this. Very, very excited that I read this, and it was wonderful. So this actually fulfills quite a few things because I'm not home and I don't have my list. I don't know. So tomorrow when I get home, I'll see what this works for Work-athon and for Season-athon Academy. It does work for my TBR game, though. So I did finish this one book so far for my September TBR. Oh, and since I DNF'd the Rape of Europa, that also counts for my TBR game because I don't count books that I've DNF'd. So, you know, meaning like I don't count that as a punishment because I tried it. I did try it, and I really am pretty positive that I made the right choice on that one. So that's just not going to work out. It's midnight. I'm not quite exactly super sleepy, but I think I'm done reading for the night. So I will see you tomorrow at 7 a.m. Well, Mom and I will both see you tomorrow at 7 a.m. when we see what our next prompt is and find out what books we'll be reading next. Good morning!
Good morning.
I'm tired this morning.
Yeah, I know my eyes are all puffy, and I'm
I know
like,
my whole face is puffy.
yeah, this was the thing where my head's really teeny.
Oh yeah, look how small your head is. Whoa! Wait, even worse now. Look at that.
How does that happen?
Now your head's big. You do have a small head, though.
I have a little pinhead.
You have a little head.
You know, that's sad.
I got Grandma's big head, I guess.
You have to buy bigger hats.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I tried on this cute, like, wide-brimmed hat the other day, and it was just a little... I mean, it fit, but it was too tight. I was like, it's not fun.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, Grandma, I didn't want this big head. But it sits on my neck well, so it's fine, right?
Yeah, I'm so glad for you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so it is a little later than we would have normally gotten up, but we were tired. And we have to leave here. We have to get out of here at 10.
So we've got to pack up and go.
It's currently 8:11, so yeah, we missed the time we would normally catch the prompt drop. But you know, that's 7 is too early.
Here we go. Prompt number 4 is going to be Oh, another B. B6. So B6. So B6 is gonorrhea. Read a book that will have you clapping by the end.
We just watched the prompt drop. Thank you, Paige. This one was a lot better than the last one. And it was gonorrhea. Okay, that doesn't sound like it's better. The last one was foot fetish. That was a little better than gonorrhea.
That was hard, but
I mean, but the prompt itself was hard because it was the bottom of our TBR list. And that was the one where I DNF'd a book. So you finished it though.
yeah, I did. It was a book I liked, but it was hard for me to read.
You never read comics or anything like that
No,
either.
I never read comics, so maybe I'm just not into picture books.
Well, she'll have fun when we start watching the anime, and then she'll be like, "Oh, I remember that from the book. Now I want to go read the book." That's what she does every time. She goes like, "I want to go reread the book."
so that I can learn how to read mangas better.
Yeah. And so for gonorrhea, it doesn't sound good, but the prompt is a book that will leave you clapping because the clap, which I think is hilarious. Paige, you're just so clever.
She was very clever.
So, good morning. What did you choose, Mother? Oh gosh, she's so excited.
I'm so excited. So a long time ago, we had heard Gavin talk about
I married a lizard man.
I married a lizard man, and it was sounded so cool. I ordered it. And then there's like 5 or 6 books after that. You marry other little things.
Yeah.
Well, a brand new one just came out. It's I Married a Dragon.
Yes.
And Amy wouldn't let me get it until today.
Well, because she's doing Aurelium Magical Readathon. And she hasn't finished her Aurelium. She still has like 3 or 4 books to read for that. And she's like, "You keep pushing me to read that book. You're just so hard on me." She read like 30, 40 books in the last month. 5 of those were for Magical Aurelium. So obviously I am not that much of a bully when it came to that. I was just trying to keep her on track because otherwise she wouldn't have read them. And I'm like, well, then why do you want to do Magical Aurelium? But she wants to because she has... Anyways, we won't get there. We won't go into it.
The series is called Prime Mating Agency, and it's run by a bird that seems to figure out how to match up humans with aliens.
Yeah.
They're just really fun. There is some smut in them.
There's a lot of smut in them.
There is some smut in them. It's really fun to see these different alien planets and how a human can get in there and meet somebody that somehow or other they are able to have smut with together. Mate. And they always fell in love. So it's a love story and they're fun.
They're smutty. Yeah, they're super smutty. And I love that Regine Abel actually creates different adaptations on these aliens that are very... things that work for women. Let's put it that way. And, I don't want to give too much away, obviously, for these smutty romances. But they are a lot of fun. I never thought I'd want to read this series. I Married a Lizard Man. I was like, really? I don't know. This is a little too questionable for me. But I had a lot of fun reading them. I've read 3 so far in this series. Mom's read all of them except for the dragon one. And the last one I read was my least favorite so far, which was I Married a Birdman. So I read I Married a Lizard Man, I Married a Naga, and I Married a Birdman. My next one is I Married a Merman. And then the dragon one just came out recently. I was looking up these books for reviewing, and I was like, she came out with another one all of a sudden. And I texted Mom and Shell because they're obsessed with the series. And they're like, oh my gosh, I came out with it. I Married a Dragon. They were just so excited. So I felt...
Shelley got it right away. And like I said, Amy said I should read my Aurelium first. So, but I'm clapping for I Married a Dragon. So I'm a little excited.
Yeah.
They're fast. So I'll get this done.
If you're concerned and you're thinking, I really don't want to read a series like this. If you like smutty novels, if you don't like smutty novels, don't read this because they are very smutty. But if you do like smutty novels, don't be too afraid of it. They're a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun, and it's not as shocking as the titles would suggest.
Hey, it's just marriage.
So I'm clapping because I'm going to continue on my Heartstopper read, Heartstopper Volume 2. I'm super excited about this by Alice Oseman. I read the first one. I'm late coming to this series. I haven't watched the series because I want to read the books first. I read the first one, and I wasn't sure how I was going to feel because I know I know a lot of people have loved it, but then some people are like, it's okay. The first one was 5 stars for me. Absolutely loved it. Such a big fan of the artwork and the way that Alice Oseman used the artwork to express a lot of what wasn't there in the dialogue. Like that dialogue wasn't super extensive in this, but the facial expressions of her characters and all the things that were the jokes and the humor and stuff that was conveyed through the facial expressions, I loved it. So I'm really excited to continue on with Nick and Charlie and read this. So this will leave me clapping because I'm super excited to find out what happens next, because the first book definitely just leaves you. And now it's time for the second one. Yeah, and I'm excited. Mom's excited so that we can eventually watch the show together as well.
I've seen it like 3 times.
Yeah. So this is our choices. We do have to pack up and be out of here by 10, and we're going to go pick up our puppy. Yes. We're just going to get things cleared up and cleaned up here, and we'll check in with you once we've finished our books. My heart. No, Amy, you don't need more books. Put it in there and run. We're so excited because that little place had kolaches, which are specific to Texas and Austin area, but apparently the new owner, they're from San Antonio. They've lived in San Antonio. So kolaches is like this little breaded thing with sausage inside and cheese and usually jalapenos. And it's delicious. And Nancy was babysitting Cece. She was Cece sitting, and look what she got, Cece. Come here, Cece. Come here. Come here. Little bat wings. What a cutie. What a silly girl. So we just got home, and this book came in the mail. And this is the new Aiden Thomas book, which is the group book for Season-a-thon Academy. I plan to use this as the Gilded Age book because I figured it would probably, based on how it looked, I thought it would have gilded pages and stuff. And look at it. It is! Has foiling on it. So what a beautiful book. I should probably also mention a couple other books I picked up recently because I got some of these at a thrift store, and one of them I bought brand new because I could not help myself. And the first one is Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead by Olga Tokarczuk. I've heard good things about this, and it's a Polish author, and since I'm Polish, I want to read some more from Polish authors. This is one that's been intriguing me for a while, so I'm excited to try this one out. I will look to see how I pronounce her name before attempting that again. Then I also picked up Finley Donovan is Killing It by El Cosimano because I do have plans to read this at some point. I'm not going to tell you when, but I have plans on reading this. And these 3 books are used, actually. We've got them at Village Books, which is a nearby bookstore, but they were all on sale used. And the last one I got used is Patsy by Nicole Dennis Benn. I have heard at least 2 booktubers talk about this fairly recently. I think it was Emma from Drinking by My Shelf and Amanda from The Reading and Writing Life. And they both said really good things about this one, so I was really interested in it. It's gonna be a tough one. It's not an easy read, and I know that's true for this as a literary fiction, so I am excited about that, but I have heard it's pretty sad. And then finally, the book I'm most excited about, and I could not hold back. I had to get it. I just was so, I don't want to say FOMO, that's not the right word for it. It's just a book that I've been wanting really badly that just came out recently that I was like, you know, Amy, you rarely really want brand new books that have just come out. So this was an instance where I decided, you know what, I'm gonna get it. And that is Babel by RF Kuang, because I have high hopes for this one. I really think I'm gonna love it just based off what I've heard about it so far. It sounds like my type of book.
So I have about 200 pages left, and I'm still loving this. I feel like I could end up giving this 5 stars.
We are home, which is exciting. We are very excited. We're relaxing already. And I just wanted to give you an update because it is 1 p.m. and we haven't done any reading since we did a little bit of reading. Like I made it, how many pages into this? 78 pages into Heartstopper. So good so far. This is all the feels. And this is like the perfect book to read for Readathon. Because I was thinking about like the kinds of books I end up usually having to pick or picking for readathons, and they're always so long. What should you be reading for 24 to 48, 69 hour readathons? You should be reading graphic novels or nice, short, easy reads. I never seem to read those kind of books, but I'm excited to be reading this. We got kolaches, which was wonderful because I said that they're specific to Texas area. Kolaches are actually a Czech baked good, like from the Czech Republic. I don't know if the ones that have sausages in them that are popular in Texas are pretty normal, because I know that I have like an old Czech cookbook and there's a lot of the fruit flavored ones, because they do have the fruit flavored kolaches, but then they also have these ones that have the little hot dogs and stuff in them. I don't know if that's more of a Texas thing. And people who are Czech immigrants came to Texas and brought their recipes with them. They became really popular there and they turned them savory, because I know that there are a lot of fruit ones, but we're a fan of these, and it was just wonderful to have something that we've missed, because to be honest, we don't have a lot of good breakfast foods here that are savory. And so like in Texas and Austin, every place you went, you'd have breakfast tacos, but then a lot of places had kolaches, and so I was just kind of missing that, and it was really nice to see that they had kolaches somewhere nearby. So when I'm feeling like I need kolaches, I can always head over there to Birch Bay and pick some up. Then we went and picked up Cece and visited with my Aunt Nancy for a while, so we got to chat with her, and that was wonderful. And then we came home and had some lunch, and I've been kind of watching a little bit of BookTube since I got home, because it's just been nice. It's been really nice to just relax a little bit. I mean, I know we've been relaxing for the last couple of days, but it was nice to relax at home a little bit. So we're doing that, but now I'm going to start reading this soon. We have a cousin who's coming over at some point to drop off fish and some vegetables. I'm sure when he comes, he'll want to chat for a while. So we need to get some reading done before he gets over here. Okay, so we are 43 and a half hours into the Not Safe for Work-athon, 69-hour readathon, and I have just finished Heartstopper Volume 2. 5 stars. So good. So good. I love this series. I love these characters. Gosh, it makes your heart so happy. Like, reading this feels so good. Reading these graphic novels just feels amazing. They're so sweet. The characters are going through a lot, but it's very young. So like they're high schoolers, so it feels like age appropriate. I know that there are bigger conversations that could be brought to head when it comes to one boy is coming out and the other boy who is gay, and they have to face a lot of things. And I think that there is definitely a light hand taken with this. I think I remember like the 4th book has more heavy content in it, that more conversations will be had about some of the struggles that kids that are in high school that are gay and dealing with bullies have to struggle with. I'll be looking forward to seeing how that's handled, but there's really just a part of me that loves how sweet this is. This relationship between these two characters feels so good, feels so innocent. I love the innocence of this relationship and just how excited they are about each other. And I really like how well they both communicate with each other. You know, there's definitely moments that come up where they're like, oh, I'm so sorry I did that, or I shouldn't have done that, or I should have asked you first. But for high schoolers, they're doing a really good job of coming back and talking about things with each other. And I like that, because communication is a hard thing for people of any age. And so to see high schoolers actually not letting things go too long and talking to each other and making sure that the other person is feeling safe and comfortable in what they're doing, I really appreciate it. I just love it. I just love it. So I'm taking Cece out because we're home and we've got, you got a forest atmosphere again. Isn't this wonderful? And then I'm going to go back and probably start reading The Threat, because that's the one that I started during this readathon and haven't had a chance to get back to. So we will do our next prompt drop at 7. Mom's still working on A Married a Dragon, so we'll find out what her thoughts are when she is able to finish that one. So I wanted to say that I have finished The Vanishing Half. So this works for TBR Knockout. The prompt for that one was book with red, orange, and or yellow on the cover, because Melanie from Completely Melanie, she does this challenge that every month we try to read books off of our physical TBR. I think that ebooks can work too, or audiobooks if you own the books. So Vanishing Half worked for my TBR game, but then it also worked for Book-athon. So for Book-athon, it was a favorite trope, and I said that one of my favorite tropes is multi-generational family dramas. And this was that. It was 2 generations. Well, actually, it did talk about the grandma a bit. So there was grandma in the story. So grandma, mom, and daughter, mostly about the moms and the daughters. But it was definitely family drama. There was a lot of drama in this, and that's what I like in a lot of literary fictions. And it was one of my 5-star prediction books for my 5-star prediction videos. Now, I gave it a 4.5, so not quite a 5-star prediction, but, you know, it was very, very close. So then, for Rape of Europa, since I DNF'd that one, I'm counting it for my TBR game because DNFs count. I rarely DNF anything. For my Season-a-thon Academy, I had Rape of Europa down for Foreign Language 1010, which is Elementary Foreign Language 1, read a book set in a different country from your own. But actually, Heartstopper Volume 2 is set in the UK, and I'm not. So that is set in a different country from my own. So that works out perfectly. I'm just going to replace the Rape of Europa with Heartstopper Volume 2 for my Season-a-thon Academy. So that covers that. I think that was all that the Rape of Europa had to cover, except for it did cover Foot Fetish for Not Safe for Work 69-hour readathon. But we don't worry about the ones that are DNF'd. We just don't worry about those. So yeah, so I'm doing pretty good. Feels good.
Here we go. All right. And that one, was B15, which is a self-care prompt. So I will pull another one just because this is a self-care. B15 is community spirit, uplift a community member. Oh my God, that's so sweet. And it is, yay, G60. So, like I said, B15 and G60. So, let's have a look at what G is. Oh, no fucking way. G60 is the self-care prompt. Oh my God. Rightio. That is munch, have a tasty snack. So, sometime during the next 12 hours, if you can uplift a community member and have a tasty snack, that would be glorious. But we need to pull again. I was not expecting this. Oh my God. All right, here we go. Fingers crossed, we get an actual book prompt. Yeah. We got 069. I'm so happy. That fills me with joy. We got 069 in the 69-hour round. I'm not dying. There it is, 069. So let's see what the actual prompt is because I can't remember. Ow! So, 069 is herpes. Read a book that has appeared in multiple locations.
Okay, so that was a fun one because we got 3 prompts in one. So 2 of them were like things you do. So one was uplift a community member, meaning somebody in the booktube community. What are you planning on doing for that?
I'm going to send a thank you to Paige for doing the 69-hour readathon. It's been really fun.
And then I know of at least 2 booktubers who have their birthday in September. So I'm going to send them a little birthday gift to celebrate them and thank them for being booktubers. That'll settle that.
Okay.
And then the other one is to eat a tasty snack within the next 12 hours. So do you have any tasty snacks in mind that you'd like?
I think I have some ice cream left in the freezer.
We just got some vegetables from my cousin, and I know vegetables doesn't sound exciting, but
She likes vegetables.
Yeah, my dad's Polish, so like he loves certain things. So he used to love getting a piece of bread, putting some butter on it, and then putting either cucumbers or tomatoes on it. And we actually just got cucumbers and tomatoes. So I was like, that sounds
actually
good.
a nice snack.
Yeah, then you put a little bit of salt on it, and it's really good. Yeah, it's really good. So I might do that.
Okay.
And then the prompt was herpes. Oh, and Paige was so cute. She's like, oh my gosh, it's 069. She was very excited about it. It was really, really cute. There's been gonorrhea, herpes. There's a lot of STDs going around in this readathon. So the prompt is to read a book you've seen in multiple locations.
I'm going to read The Space Between Worlds by Michaiah Johnson because I saw it on G's video. I saw it at the library that we could pick it up. And Paige also explained that if the book has multiple places in it, that would work. And this has multiverses in it, so I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, little sci-fi action for Mama. And you're getting to work on your Rillium one, so that's
and I need
exciting.
to finish Rillium.
So that you, for me, I'm going to be reading The Hacienda by Isabel Canas. So this works, in my opinion, because I found this randomly at the bookstore that we love to go to, and it was $3. This is a book of the month book choice. So I've definitely seen ads for this particular book on Instagram. And then I've seen people like Kayla from Books and Lala talk about it in their vlogs when they've read it. So multiple people have read this and I've seen their reviews of it. And I think because of the reviews and because I got it for really cheap, that I think I'm going to enjoy it. It's a modern Gothic novel and it's said to have Rebecca vibes. So I love Rebecca. It's one of my favorite classic mysteries. And so I'm excited to read this and see what I think about it because I'm a big fan of Gothic novels. And I think this will be fun because it's nighttime. Well, 7 p.m. We're coming into the evening, and this will be a good evening choice for me. Oh, how did I Married a Dragon go?
I didn't quite finish it. 12 hours. But in these 12 hours, we did a lot. I started reading, and then I fell asleep.
Yeah. She slept.
Amy said I slept for quite a few hours. So I'm going to And then my cousin came over, brought fish and vegetables.
And he was here for a while, too. So by the time he left...
I had 20 minutes to 7. There was no way I was going to finish because I'm still at 79% of the book.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to finish that first.
Oh, okay.
I want to get it finished because I can't leave it in the middle. I'm not that type of person. And then I'll pick this up and I'm going to read as much as I can because I think I'll like it. I love sci-fi.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. I read a little bit of The Threat, maybe like 10 pages, but I also fell asleep. And then Russ came, and I had to go to the library because I had 2 books on hold, and I didn't realize that one of my holds was going to be let go after today. So I had to make sure I picked up that book by today. We're here now. We're ready for our next books. Yay! Woohoo! And there's my tasty snack. Woohoo! Mine almost looks like a full meal. How was yours tasty snack?
Oh my gosh, it's so good. The honey is so good in this. It's
Honey
graham. It says rich and creamy vanilla gelato swirled with sweet wildflower honey and golden graham cracker pieces.
Ooh.
Yum.
Okay, so I'm doing my community spirit, and first, Amy Bowman's birthday is in September. I'm really excited about giving her some books because she's a wonderful booktuber. Amy's Bookish Life. If you haven't checked out that channel, I will link everything below. She's a wonderful person. She's super sweet. We've done buddy reads together. She's joined in on some of the read-alongs I've done. She's been on my channel for sprints a few times with me. A joy to watch. She's a joy to be a booktube friend with. And I just am excited for her. It's her birthday month. So I went on her wish list, and Amy, you might want to check it because your personal wish list, it won't let me get into it. So I went to double check on the link to make sure that it wasn't just a user error on the day that I did this. And it's saying that the link is expired. So I'm guessing just adding a different link to your link tree, Amy, might help us who struggle wanted to give you a regular birthday gift. There's also Classroom Library Amazon wish list, which I thought was perfect because Amy's a teacher. I'm going to be a teacher, so I support giving things to teachers for their classroom, so especially books. And so I went on the Amazon wish list for her Classroom Library, and I picked Wilder Lore because you know I'm a huge Wilder Lore fan by Amanda Foody. And I also picked, there's a young adult adaptation of Unbroken by Laura Hillenbrand, I think that's her name. And I read this nonfiction book a while ago, but I really liked it. The movie was not as great, but the book was fantastic. And I think it's pretty cool that they have a YA version for, younger readers on there. So I'm sending those 2, and it's not a surprise. Well, she'll probably get them by the time this video goes out. So that's for Amy. Happy birthday, Amy. And everybody go check out Amy's channel. And then the other booktuber that I'd like to shout out to, and I know she has a birthday in September, I want to shout out Di from Desus19 Hearts. She's just such a wonderful person. She is a very genuine personality, and I love hearing her talk about her family and her daughter. And she reads a lot of manga. She reads a lot of manga, which is great because I don't know much about manga, and I'm not getting into it very quickly, but she's the person I go to when I have ideas of things that I want to try out. I'm trying to go through some series right now that I had decided a while ago to start on, like Fruits Basket because it's Shell's favorite, and Tokyo Ghoul just because I think I was just really curious about Tokyo Ghoul. But there have been a lot of suggestions Dai has made that I'm like, I want to get to that series. So I will. And I think that if you're looking for great manga recommendations or cozy mystery recommendations, or, well, there's a lot of recommendations, go check out Dai's channel. I went onto her Amazon wish list and I'm going to be sending her A Good Girl's Guide to Murder because I really want to read that series. I know so many people love it. And it's such a popular murder mystery series, and I know that you love murder mysteries, Dai, so I thought that might be a cool choice. And then the other one I sent was a little sentimental, only because I know you're very close to your family, and sometimes you guys read together. I did pick out A Christmas Carol and Other Holiday Treasures because I thought that might be a fun Christmassy book to share with the family during the holidays, because I love the holidays, and I know you do as well. So I was just thinking that might be a fun one. And it's this really pretty bind-up that I think you'll enjoy. I hope you'll enjoy. So that is the other booktuber you should check out, Dai from Desis 19 Hearts. I will link her information down below. Please make sure you check out Amy and Dai. They're wonderful people and their birthdays are coming up. And so then for Mom's community member Uplift, she followed Paige on Instagram because Mom has an Instagram. She likes to update pictures on there occasionally. And then she sent her a letter saying thank you for the readathon because there's a lot of work that went into this and Paige did an amazing job. So yeah, everybody should say thank you, Paige, for putting this together because it's a lot of work and it went really well for us. I hope it went really well for you, Paige. Okay, so it is about 10:30. And I'm getting really sleepy, so I'm gonna give you a bit of an update because I'm waiting for some stuff to dry in the dryer. So I'd like to continue reading a little bit more, but part of me's thinking I'm not gonna stay awake very much longer. So I just want to tell you a little bit about the Hacienda. I'm on page 38 currently. I'm enjoying it so far. I haven't been reading the whole time since 7 p.m. I was doing other things and distracted. I just think I'm tired this evening. We start out with this guy named Andres, and he is, well, we don't know much about him in the very beginning except that he's hurting and he's in pain. His love has left and he's devastated. And then we go 2 months into the past and we meet Beatriz, who has just married Don Rodolfo, the owner of the Hacienda. And she's married him because her father, although he started out with the insurgents when they were trying to overthrow the government, overthrow the emperor, he ended up getting killed by the people who overthrew the emperor because he had made decisions to collaborate with someone who I think was like a conservative or something along those lines, and people said that he was a traitor, even though his daughter says he wasn't, because he was collaborating because he had to compromise in order to get things accomplished. They said he was a traitor, so they shot all those people after the government was overthrown. So she basically has nothing, and because her mom married outside of her class when she married her father, they don't have anybody else in the family they can go to because they were basically shunned after her mother married this guy who was beneath her class. They only have like one family member that they can go stay with. Those family members hate them, and so like the mom and the daughter kind of relegated there to this life of being given the bare minimum and being made fun of and talked horribly to all the time. But then the daughter meets Don Rodolfo at his dance and he marries her pretty quickly. Very similar to like Rebecca in the sense that they marry very quickly. And she really just clings to him and marries him because she wants a home. She wants a house that belongs to her, that doesn't belong to anybody else, that she can bring her mom to and have a family there and they'll be safe because she's just had such a horrible experience and all their safety and all their security has been taken away from them. So she comes to this place and of course things are already starting to feel off. Her husband is very uneasy when it comes to certain things, including how he reacts to his sister who lives there. She's not in charge, but she kind of acts like she's in charge. And really what she's most interested in is they do mezcal. So they have these fields of mezcal. They make this sour beer called pulque. I can't remember what it's called, but it's some kind of sour beer that is the reason why he was able to maintain his livelihood during the war, because a lot of other people went broke. Now I've just gone back to Andres. We're learning that he is been in the seminary. His mom and his grandmother encouraged him to go into the seminary. Somehow he's an heir to his grandmother who is some sort of, we don't know what yet, but something that the Inquisition would look down upon. This element of himself that he's been handed down from his grandmother that's very important to him. He's been holding it deep inside, like a secret about himself, so that the Inquisition, which he was basically dealing with while he was at the seminary, they never knew this about him, that he is something. He's a medicine person that maybe does some witchcraft or something like that. I mean, that's like the implications, at least what it feels like it's leading up to. And so he's come back to this area they live in. So that's where we're at so far. And I don't know how Andres and Beatrice are connected in any way, if these two storylines are connected or if they're just going to go simultaneously. I know that Beatrice is not in love with Rodolfo, even though he's like this really handsome man. She's doing this because she wants a better life and she wants a home for her mother and herself. And the place is creepy to her. Like, she is excited about it. She wants to make it her own, but there's a part of her that's being held back and feels like it's not a safe place. So, you know, she's trying to ignore those impulses, but those impulses tell her that she should run screaming. As is true with a lot of Gothic novels, there is a lot of very descriptive writing, and I really like the way the author is using metaphor in here. I think it's done really well, and I like the influence that it uses. It's very set in the culture, and I think that that's really cool. I think that it's cool that the author obviously is writing from a perspective of a story set in that culture, but even using the metaphors to kind of root you in that location, root you in the mood of that place, it's clever. It's well done. As is true for most books, when I first start reading them, it takes me a little while before I get into the groove of them, because you need to get to know this new writing style and get into the story. So, you know, I'm only 38 pages in, but it's going well so far. I'm enjoying it so far. I think that I'm gonna like this. I do love Gothic novels, so like it's hard to really disappoint me when it comes to Gothic novels. I don't think I've read any that I've absolutely hated. I don't think I have. So it's just a style that I really, really enjoy. As far as like the characters and am I going to enjoy them? Am I not? I don't know. It's hard to say yet. Like, it's still pretty early on. I don't really have any strong feelings about Beatrice. I think I'm going to really like the character of Andres, but I don't know for sure yet. So I'm looking forward to finding out some more and continuing on. But the problem is that I'm getting tired and I'm going to fall asleep soon. And then when we wake up at 7 a.m., it'll be time for the next prompt drop, the final prompt drop. So I'm like, well, it might be just 38 pages that I get done. So at least it gives me, you know, a bit of a taste into this, and then I will continue reading it hopefully at some point, because, you know, started it. It's on my TBR. I do need to read it. Oh, and before I forget, look at this pretty little baby girl. She's such a cutie patootie. Just chilling and relaxing. Good morning.
Good morning. Our last day of our 69-hour readathon. I did finish. I married a dragon. It's like the 5th or 6th book in the series. I liked it. I'm a little hesitant because I'm thinking that they're all starting to be kind of sounding the same. And I mean, it's a new critter, a dragon, and I love dragons. I want to meet one someday, but it was good. It was fun. It's a light smut book, and I liked all the characters. I don't know what turn she could take to make this seem more exciting and new, but it's turning out the same. Of course, girl meets boy, in this case, dragon, and she doesn't think she's going to fall in love with him. She has a 6-month contract, 6 months marriage. At the end of 6 months, she can decide to divorce him or whatever. And of course, they fall in love way before the 6 months and end up happily ever after. And that's how all of them are.
Yeah.
They all are that way. And maybe that's okay, because, you know, I used to read Harlequin romances in the past. Boy meets girl, some kind of thing breaks them apart, and then they get back together again and live happily ever after. So I guess I can't really fault this. It was a fun, quick read. Liked it.
Right.
Okay, so then the next book that I had to read was The Space Between Worlds. In here they claim there's 380 different multiverses. Earth exactly the same, maybe just a little bit off. In fact, here it says the first 10 Earths are almost identical. But they wanted to visit these universes, and when they first started out, they discovered that if your doppelganger or your exact self was on the other Earth, you would die, because the universe wouldn't let the same person come into the universe. So they started finding people that were lower class that, had a hard life and would likely die, and use those people to go into these other universes because most likely their self would be dead. The main girl in this story, she's dead in almost all of them. She's had a really tough life. They slightly cover each of her lives in each of the places she visits. And I'm not done reading this, actually. So I can't tell you much more, come to think of it, because I don't know what happens.
Are you liking it?
Yeah, and I knew I would. That's why I picked this one, even though G didn't like it, and that's okay. We all have different preferences. I like straight science fiction, and this is pretty straight science fiction. So I can't wait to read the rest of it. And I'll read it after, I think we end today at 4 p.m.
Yeah. So it is currently, we're running late. It's well after 7, but I had a hard time getting up. I didn't get much further. Let's see, what am I on? I was waiting for my stuff to dry last night, and I'm currently on page 46. So yeah, I didn't get much further. And I am enjoying this, but it was hard to read it last night too because I was just getting really sleepy. And so I kept reading over some of the same sentences. Well, I look really bad this morning. Sorry, I'm bloated and I don't look so great. So we're going to watch the final prompt drop, pick our final book, and we're going to see what happens. We're almost there. We've got 9 hours, 8.5-ish hours left to go. We didn't do as much reading yesterday as we did the day before, so I felt like I'm not feeling as burnt out as I felt on other 24, 48-hour readathons.
True.
But I think
by the end, we're dragging our butts.
I know, we're like, I don't want to see another book. But I think today I actually feel kind of refreshed for reading. And I think that's because we didn't actually read as much yesterday as we would have liked to, maybe. But we did have a lot of things we had to get accomplished since we came home and did all that stuff. So I'm ready to read. I think I'm ready to read.
Let's do the final prompt drop. I'm so sad. It's been so much fun, I nearly dropped it. So thank you everyone for your support, and here we go, the final prompt drop for Not Safe Work-athon. Actually, I'm gonna give this a few spins just to shake it up and see how we go. So 1, 2, 3, and onto the actual prompt. Oh! Alright, so we got O70. I never read out the O prompts in my last video. Sorry guys. Alright, so O70. And for that prompt it is popper. Read a relaxing book or that opens you up.
Okay, so I actually never knew what a popper was.
It's so funny because I knew.
So apparently a popper is a drug that when you inhale it, it's a liquid drug, when you inhale it, it's like an aphrodisiac. And so it makes you randy.
I'm Sharon, not Randy.
Mom's jokes are so old.
So am I.
Anyways, the prompt itself was pick a book that relaxes you or opens you up. What do you think is going to relax you or open you up?
Well, when I was young, I loved Rex Stout, and these are the Nero Wolfe series. And for Christmas night, I think 2 years ago, she bought me these sets. There's 2 stories to each book. I mean, it's a beautiful set she bought me. I read Fair de Lance, but now I'm going to read The League of Frightened Men. There's a lot of humor in here. It's really funny. Nero Wolfe is a very large man that doesn't leave his house. And so his little sidekick, Archie, his secretary, does all the running around, and Archie's really hilarious. And I don't know if they're PC because they were written in the 60s, but I think this will be a fun read. I've been wanting to read these since Amy bought them for me 2 years ago. It's going to be a little cozy mystery, and I think that's a good popper
Relaxing.
for me. Yes.
Good. I am going to read Heartstopper Volume 3 by Alice Oseman because I just was loving this yesterday when I read this Volume 2. I really want to continue on because I have it from the library. Mom wants me to continue on so we can watch the show, which I'm excited about, but I'm more excited about the book. And when I was reading the second book yesterday, it just is so relaxing and so fun, and I found myself giggling at the sweetness here and there, and it does feel amazing. And it'll also be relaxing because I can get this done. I can get this done well before the time is up, and then I can continue working on the other books that I have started and have not been able to read, and then I can actually feel like I've accomplished something.
That'll be good. That'll be good, because you always feel like you start all these books in a readathon and never get to finish them.
Yeah,
So
because
you'll have finished 2.
I know. No, 3, because I already finished The Vanishing Half.
Oh, that's... Wow.
Yeah.
This has been a good readathon.
And maybe I'll finish one of my other books. Maybe not, but I'll try. I'll make some progress. Feels good. It feels relaxing. It feels like I just took a popper.
That's arousing, not relaxing.
Oh. Ew. Okay. I'm not feeling that way right now.
We just want to get started on our new books. This was a great drop, Paige.
Yes, thank you, Paige. And thank you so much. This has been so much fun. And it was fun for these last 2 prompts because we didn't know what they were in advance. So we were like, oh, what are we going to get? What are we going to pick? And this was just great. It was so much fun. So much, yes. Look at that girl. Look at that girl. Look at that girl. Hey, 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 hey. She's like, it's family time. It's family time. Let's hang out.
She's so sweet.
Let's all hang out. It's just about 12. I went back and I didn't realize that there were like little short comics and stuff at the back of these. So I went back and read the short comic in the back of this one. And then I read all the stuff that was in the back of this one. And it's super cute. Super, super cute. I would say that of the 3, this one's probably my least favorite. I still loved it. I would still, I think, give it a 4.5. I just didn't love it 5 stars the way I loved the other 2. But still amazing. And I absolutely love Nick and Charlie. I love the conversations that are starting to come up. I like the communication that's happening here. Granted, there's moments when they're not communicating enough, but I think it's really cool that they come back and talk about how they are not doing the communication that they need. Like, so there's still a level of communication that ends up happening. It's just taking them time, which is normal in relationships. You have to get to know the person really well. And they're young. They're high school, 15, 16. Nick is just trying to understand himself because he's never come out before as being bisexual. So, like, this is all new to him. This is all new to them. Their relationship is still very new. It's only been like 3 months. I love this. It's just so wonderful. Looking forward to the 4th one. I can't wait. I put it on hold at the library, so hopefully that doesn't take too long to get here. I do need to go shopping. We wanted to go to pick up some plant food because I have a ton of indoor plants, and they all need a little bit of love. And I have not been giving them the love they need for a long time. And so it's like, Amy, you need to do this. It would be better to do it before summer's officially over because I start school in 2 weeks. And so I'm just like, come on, get some of the things done that you'd like to. And I really want to take care of my little plants. Plus, yesterday when we were at the Kolache place, I got this cute little macrame planter. See, look at that. It's super cute. It has a ring up here. No, the lighting is terrible. Oh, here we go. So I just think it's really, really cute. And that is for my little spider plant, because look how sad this guy is. He needs love. He's got all these little buddies that are hanging off of him. That's not a separate plant. That's just his. So this spider plant needs a new home, and he needs a little loving, and that's going to be his new home. So yeah, I've got a lot of plants like this plant. This is an angel wing begonia, which was doing so well for so long. Like, the leaves were beautiful, it was healthy, it was growing new leaves, and it needs to be repotted and it needs to be fed because it's just doing terribly. All summer it's been doing terribly. We've moved it around the house a couple of times and it just hates life. And so I need to figure out how to help this guy out. So I've got a lot of plants that need repotting, need food, and I'd like to head over to the plant store and pick something up. So there's fires up in the Cascades, and so there's tons of smoke right now. You can see it over there really well, how hazy it is. We came for plant food and we're leaving with a plant. But look how pretty this is. All right, it is 4 o'clock. We have finished our 69-hour readathon. How did that last stretch go for you?
I'm still reading. I've still got some book left. I love this story.
You having fun? Does it feel like a comfort,
Yes.
cozy read?
It's more about revisiting characters that I've loved when I was young. I mean, in my teen years. I think I was reading Rex Stout in my teen years. And so, yeah, it was comforting.
Like nostalgic.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us about the League of Frightened Men.
During a college hazing, about 38 guys made a freshman climb out of the building to go into a window and unlock somebody's door. He fell off the building and was handicapped for life. About 10 or 15 years later, these 38 men started dying one by one. Everyone suspects the handicapped man was killing him off. So Nero Wolf's got to figure out what's going on to help these frightened men, the League of Frightened Men. I was telling Amy before I started, I said, part of the fun in here is that it's funny. This was written in like 1934. Nero Wolf is the detective and his sidekick, Archie Goodwin, is hilarious. And I've laughed several times here because he just is such a jokester and it's fun.
What haven't you finished of the ones that we've...
So the last book, the fifth book, this was the fifth one, I'm only halfway through. So I still have the other half to go, but I've got the whole weekend and I'm going to read it because I really do like it. And then Rex Stout, I would say I probably have a quarter left to go. This is 2 books actually. So the little bit that's left is for the second book. So I'd say about a quarter. So I've got about 3/4 of 2 books left. All the rest of my read.
Not bad.
Yeah, how are you doing?
So I finished Heartstopper Volume 3. During this, I've read 3 books. I started with The Threat, which I've read a little bit more of. I've gotten to page 100, and that was what I was finishing off with here, the last bit. Some parts are more interesting than others. I feel like some sections feel a little more tedious to read. Just I'm not as interested in the particular areas that he's talking about or the way he's describing things, whereas other areas I find myself a lot more interested. And that can be true with nonfiction a lot of the times. Sometimes you read books and certain things are more along the lines of things that you're interested in learning more about. And then sometimes there's things that you're just kind of like, doesn't quite hit the spot. So I find that there are sections of this that become a little more drawn out and not as interesting, and then sections of this that I'm really finding fascinating. That's where I'm at with that one. Then my second one was Vanishing Half by Brit Bennett, which I have finished. I finished that one during this. Then I did The Rape of Europa, which I DNF'd, gave that a new home. Then I read Heartstopper Volume 2, which I finished during that round. And then I started the Hacienda last night, which I only read for probably at the most 2 hours last night. I was just too tired. And that was during that 12 hours. So that didn't get read much. And then finally I read Heartstopper Volume 3 today. I've got 2 books that I haven't finished. That's The Threat, which I'm not quite halfway in, but I'm making progress in that one. And then the Hacienda, which I've barely scratch the surface.
Do you think you like it?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I had a really hard time staying awake, and I definitely dozed a few times when I was trying to read it last night. So it's not the book's fault. I was just too tired to be reading last night. And then starting a new book when I was that tired, that's always really hard for me. So I may restart that book when I I don't know, maybe not. We'll see. I remember what I've read from the beginning of it. So that's it. We finished our 69-hour readathon, tribute to Not Safe for Work-athon, which is ending. And this was wonderful.
It was fun. It was fun. I got a lot of books done, so now I need to record them in Goodreads.
Yeah. The work of recording is always
pain in the butt.
If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up and make sure you go check out Paige's channel and subscribe to her. But while you're subscribing, before you go there, subscribe to me and come back to see some more of my content. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you later.
Bye.